Hello everyone, welcome to K.S.J Industrial Projects. Today I'm going to teach you how to buff headlights. So guys, since we're going to be buffing headlights, we're going to need some extra cut compound, a buffing machine, a buffing pad. You're going to need, of course, some sandpaper. So first you're going to need some 600 grit sandpaper, 800 grit sandpaper, 1000 grit sandpaper, and 2000 grit sandpaper. That's pretty much all you're going to need. So what you can also do is get one of these drill attachments that come with all this sandpaper and like all these mini pieces of sandpaper, and it goes on just like that. And what you can do is also have this little buffing pad that it comes with too, and you can buff headlights with it, but it's all recommended that you do the sanding just by hand. So let me show you how to do that. So guys, first things first, what you're going to have to do is first clean up your headlight from all this dirt, dust, and debris on here, and if you don't do that, it's going to interrupt the sanding process. Okay guys, so after you cleaned it and wiped it off with a microfiber towel to make everything dry, what you're going to need to do now is get some masking tape and cover all around this headlight. So guys, I got this all covered up with masking tape. Now we're going to do the sanding process. Now to do the sanding process, what you're going to have to do is get some 600 grit sandpaper. Okay guys, now let's get into the sanding process. Now what you're going to have to do is get some 600 grit sandpaper and a bucket of water. Now this 600 grit sandpaper is this special kind of sandpaper meant for water sanding. Now make sure you get that kind. Now what you're going to have to do is dip your sandpaper in water and you can start sanding away. Okay guys, now what you're gonna have to do is constantly keep dipping the sandpaper into the water. So guys, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna have to make sure you go in one direction back and forth. Now do you see that yellow material coming off the headlight? Now if you do, that's the exact material that's on your headlight that's making it look really bad. So if you're flipping cars and selling them, this is one thing you're gonna want to do. Okay guys, so the sanding process has been complete. Now what you're going to have to do is wipe all this stuff off and rinse it off with a sponge. And let's move on to the next sandpaper. Okay, now the next sandpaper is going to be this 800 grit sandpaper. Okay guys, now with our 800 grit sandpaper, we're just going to dip this back into the water and we're going to start sanding. Now instead of sanding from side to side, sand it from going up and down many times. Okay guys, now step 2 of sanding has been complete. Now we're just going to rinse this off with the sponge and continue with the next grit. Okay guys, so the next sandpaper we're going to use is the 1000 grit sandpaper. Alright guys, moving on to our 1000 grit sandpaper, we're just going to dip this thing in water and continue the process just like we did with the 600 and 800 grit. Okay guys, now we're done with the 1000 grit. We're just going to rinse this off just like we did with the 600 and 800 grit. Let's move on to the next one. Okay guys, sanding process is nearly complete. Let's just finish it off with this 2000 grit sandpaper. Okay guys, moving on to our 2000 grit sandpaper. This is the final sandpaper we're going to use for this sanding process. Now, just like the usual with all the other sandpapers, just dip it in water and continue sanding. Okay guys, now the sanding process has been complete. Now all we have to do is just rinse it off with water and sponge, and now we can do the buffing process. Okay guys, now for the buffing process, you're gonna need a buffing machine just like this. Now you could just use a drill attachment for a buffing machine, comes with mini buffing pads and sandpapers, but I'm just gonna use this. So we put the buffing pad on, and next what we're gonna do, we're gonna apply some extra cut compound, and we really don't need too much, but what I put on there is a little too much, but that's fine. But then we're going to, like, instead of like going like real crazy with it and instantly powering it on, what you're gonna do is just smear it all over the headlight, using the buffing pad just like this. After you're done smearing, then you can start buffing. Okay guys, so after you're done buffing the first time, what you're gonna want to do is change the speed mode from 1 to the second setting. Okay guys, so after you're done doing it the second time, just change the speed setting to 3. Okay guys, now go to mode 4. Okay guys, so you can see we're kind of starting to run out. It's easy. Just apply some extra compound, smear it all over the place, and continue buffing. Okay guys, now the process is almost finished. Now all we have to do is just change the speed setting to 5, and let's continue buffing. Okay guys, finally the buffing process has been complete. Now just wipe the surface off with a microfiber towel. Now when we wipe everything off, you can really start to see the thing reflecting light. Okay guys, finally this is the final step. Now let's clean the headlight. Now I'm using this Rain-X glass cleaner and water repellent. Now we're just gonna spray this on, and we're just gonna wipe it right off. Okay guys, now the very last step is to just peel off the blue masking tape. Now man, I cannot believe it turned out this good. And this is the before and after. And trust me, it looks way better in person. Now, if you learned something new, comment down below, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Bye!